Hi everybody, my name's Alan. On behalf of the crew, I'd like to welcome you to another edition of Bridging Heaven and Earth. You know, for us here at Bridging, and I know for you out there because I get calls and letters and emails literally from all over the planet now with the internet and with the shows on in so many places. I know the hunger. I know the hunger on this planet. I know the hunger in this studio audience. I know the hunger to know love. I know the hunger to reconnect to our hearts, to heal the hearts. We all have a sense all over this planet that something is amiss, something is wrong. There's just something wrong, that the way we're proceeding as human beings on this planet now, there's just something not right, not harmonious, almost not valid, that we know that there's a connection between us that we're not realizing. We know that there's a heart feeling, a heart connection, a connection of love that somehow escapes us on a daily basis. And somehow we can connect to our family, we can connect to certain groups, we can connect to certain religions or countries or something, ball teams, soccer teams, something. We can connect to something, but we know that there's a connection to the heart, to the one heart, to the one love on this planet. That there is something that humans throughout history have called God or truth or love in a sense, that transcends by such a distance all our differences and all our separations. And the hunger is here, and the hunger is now, and the hunger is answerable. Because there is an experience in this human body for every race, color, religion, creed, nationality, anything we separate, then it can experience the oneness, that can experience that love that is the energy of all creation. And we hunger for it. Look at the insanity that exists. Look at the insanity in a way that always exists. And why does that insanity exist? Because there's one problem on this planet, is that we feel separate. We don't know the connection to the whole, to the one, that we're all connected, that there is no way for us not to be connected, because the way this earth was set up is that there is one energy creating it, and we're all that, or that's our Father, however you would see it. We are all made of love, God is love, and we are God. And for all of us, what would that experience be like on this planet? You know, when we have it a little bit, even when we have it in a little sense, towards a family member, towards a child, towards the ocean, the dolphins, the whales, the magnificent national parks all over the world, the things that awaken our hearts, that heal the heart for that 1 minute. The feeling is joy, the feeling is connection. So how can we expand that? How can we make the whole real? The oneness real? Because that's the truth of it, and the rest is the misunderstanding. And as people who've watched the show know, that's what this show's about from the very first show. And the next series of shows we're having will be the 200th show. And we've been doing it like for 12 years. And each one of those shows is about, dedicated to the oneness. It was on the opening credits and it'll be on the closing credits. And it's dedicated to the experience of the one, of the whole, of love, of truth, of God. And we need it, we want it, we hunger for it. And we have, you know, guests come in from all over the world whose life is dedicated in one way or another, in one heartbeat, in one form, in one body or another, in one spiritual path or another, to that love, to that oneness. And we know that that feeling is being hungered for and realized, and more and faster and faster. And that's our calling, that's our duty, all of us, not just here, not just me, not just Bridging, not just the people watching it. Everybody wants that experience. So tonight we have somebody again whose life is dedicated to that for a tremendously long time. Michey Berger is an extraordinary healer. He's had an unbelievably long spiritual path. I mean, not that he's 560 years old, but I mean, he's from an early age, he hungered for that knowing. He hungered for that experience. He, started the practice of quantum energetic medicine. He's just finished a book on healing and self-healing and health. He talks about that every manifested human condition is healable, and that everything is energy, as we were talking before. There is this energy, there is this love, and from there all else comes. So, I mean, Mickey's here to share with us his gifts and his experiences. And we also, as most of you know, we have videos of just unbelievably magical musicians. We have Constance Demby and we have Mickey Huber, who have two beautiful musical videos. And also, as a lot of you know, we're in the middle of this international art project where we got this vision to have artists from all over the world. We put out a call. Artists all over the world create a new original piece based on the theme Bridging Heaven and Earth, and pieces are coming in literally from all over the world. And there was no timetable, there was no format, anything that came through them based on their creation process of Bridging Heaven and Earth. So you'll see tonight two different extraordinary pieces that were manifested through that experience, Kathleen Boyson and James McNulty. So this is a real opportunity for all of us to come together and dedicate this next hour to an experience of the love. And then the next hour, and then the next hour. And then every hour from now on is that connection, that hunger and that answer, that hunger and that answer. Okay, so let's start with a short meditation, then we'll have the first video, and it's an opportunity. So please join me in a short meditation. Hi everybody. So the first video tonight is going to be Constance Demby. She's an extraordinary, world-renowned sound healer, musician, just extraordinary being. It's called The Winding Path. Constance Demby, The Winding Path. Here it comes. Yeah, hi, welcome back. So that was some piece by Constance Demby. Thank you, Constance, for sending it. Now, the piece you see in between us now is Kathleen Boyson, Silent Bliss. That was one of the pictures sent in. Actually, she's a local Santa Barbara artist for the Bridging Heaven and Earth Art Project. I mean, if you've been seeing them week after week, you'll see that there's just such an extraordinary explosion of different kind of manifestations of, you know, how people create under the theme Bridging Heaven and Earth, and this is one of them, so it's beautiful. So we're on the set with Michey. Welcome, Michey.
Thank you. A pleasure to be here.
Good. So how did you get involved in healing? I mean, with that, a lot of times it happens for an illness or an injury for you. Did anything like that happen? Or?
My path was for the healing, or my practice was totally different. I was in Chicago minding my own business, deciding I wanted to become a millionaire, and I opened up a camera store. Circumstances shifted, and I came out to Los Angeles to be with a person. And I was going to open up a camera store out here, and the last second decision was, no, you know what, it's time for a career change. And I used to do hypnosis way back. I actually did it when I was in high school. So I thought, you know what, I'm going to go back and do hypnosis. And that's what I started with. I started with doing hypnosis. The whole field of hypnosis in the 30 years since I no longer did it sort of shifted. So I got into it. I started doing classes, seminars, going to lectures, on and on and on. And
do you need degrees for that? I mean, do you
not
need
in the state of
licenses?
California. State of California is so weird for
In more than a few ways, as we well know.
to be something like a psychotherapist, right? You need 3,000 clinical hours, you need certification, you need a whole ball of wax. To be a hypnosis, or a hypnotherapist in California, you don't even need a business card.
Wow,
Yeah.
isn't that amazing?
Yeah,
So you
they-
can actually, without any training, any
Correct.
license, hold yourself out as doing hypnotherapy on people and get people in, have them pay you, and do whatever you would think hypnotherapy.
Yes. Being a hypnotherapist, being a politician, about the same.
Wow, that's amazing. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah.
I'm just shocked, but I've been shocked a lot lately by what goes on.
This state, which is the tightest in many regulation, is actually for hypnosis, is very loose.
Wow.
They actually tried for a while to regulate hypnosis, and they had worked something out with the board for hypnotherapists. And in theory, they were going to regulate it. In the last second, there was a big discrepancy, and they backed off.
Wow. Okay, so go on. So you were doing this thing.
So I started with hypnosis, and in being able to service my clients more, I learned more and more tools. I learned things for emotions, things for this, things for that, and my client base actually used to guide what tools I needed. And I used to get the same kind of clients over and over and over again in bunches. My first group of clients were all psychotherapists. Never understood why they came to me. It's like 70% of my client load was all psychotherapists. And from my standpoint, being a hypnotherapist, I'm going, what are these learned people doing coming to me? If I was a hypnotherapist, if I had a problem, I would go to the most expensive psychotherapist I get my hands on and get fixed. But after a while, I sort of made sense of it. These people were very brilliant. They were used to dealing with their problems, analyzing their problems, owning their problems, talking about their problems. They did everything in the world with their problems except get rid of them.
Yeah, right. They keep having them. It's like a Woody Allen joke.
Pretty much.
Going for 400 years.
Right.
You know.
Very much. That was my job. My job is, okay, you're finally ready to get rid of it? Good. So I had therapist after therapist after therapist. And my second group of people that I had was sort of funny. I was in Encino at the time. So I had the porno people and the exotic dancers. After that, I got the nuts. But I got to a place with my own practice where I was getting a lot of very serious cases, people with unbelievably terminal illnesses and just horror stories. And my tools, which were very good, there was nothing I could not approach and help or eventually heal. My tools were just way too slow. It would take me years and years and years to fix some people.
So posthumously didn't count.
Didn't count. You know, operation
Well,
successful.
fine, how do you do?
Yeah, operation successful, patient died.
Beautiful.
Right.
Beautiful.
So
Bill went out, no.
I came to this, the parent of what I do, which was called Chinese energetic medicine. And I've been, was trying to find, to see one of the free lecture demos. And as life would have it, there was like a movie going on that weekend. The kids needed to go, here. I didn't feel like it. I had a rough day. I was caught in traffic. So months and months and months, 6, 7, 8 months went by without me actually getting to see. And then one day, as luck would have it, I was in a head shop, of all places, just killing some
We're
time.
not going to
before-
ask what you were doing there, but...
Sniffing incense.
Oh,
I'm an incense
sure.
sniffer.
Sniffing incense.
Sniffing incense.
Right.
And playing with the crystals. Looking at books. That's my vice. And for some reason, they actually were having a demonstration of this there. Turns out, when the time came for the demonstration, I was the only person.
Really? Wow.
And I got hooked. I went like, wow, before this session was over, I was working on my clients remotely.
Wow.
Started showing up at the free lecture demos, and I actually showed up so often I actually felt bad about it. I asked, I said, you know, I'm showing up here because it's free. Is that okay? They said, yeah, keep coming. And then when they had the first seminar, I bit my lips. It was inconvenient. I said, you know what, I'm doing it. I did the first seminar, and then the rest just took off on its own.
And how was that like a quantum difference to you? How was that healing modality so different than the ones you were using before, the tools you were using before?
It's a lot like being in, at best, a beat-up '64 Volkswagen and moving to $1.5 million Ferrari.
Really?
Yeah, it was all of a sudden everything I wanted to be, I could be.
And what were those things you wanted to be?
In terms of my healing, I want to be effective. I don't
And
want to
before posthumous.
And before posthumous.
Right, those were the two criteria.
Yeah.
And this just speeded up the process, made it more precise, more accurate.
I can't say it made it more precise, more accurate, because in this case, at least, I need to pat myself on the back, even in hypnosis, even using the tool of hypnosis and the tool of ECC and EMDR and everything else I had. It is my own way of being that I'm very precise. So it's the old adage, it's not the violin, it's the violinist. So I was able to get done what I needed to get done with those things. The biggest single thing was how much work could I do, how fast, right? Could I go from a sequence where it would take a year to regenerate a heart valve, to possibly regenerate a heart valve in 4 months, 6 months, 3 months, 2 months, faster. Yeah. And this is open-ended in the sense there is no restriction to how good I could be and how much I can do, except my own limitations and the limitations that the client will impose on me. One of the things that is inviolate in my system is this concept of free will. It basically means I don't get to play God. So if my
And
client...
how does that manifest in your day-to-day activity that way?
This not getting to play God? Sometimes a person comes to me with what apparently is something that they want to fix. I'll give you an example of one of my literally the very first client I had that introduced me to this thing in energetic medicine. I was working with the Shaolin West Center, and at that time I was the junior executive that basically didn't really heal anybody. I was just answering the phones and doing the rest of it. As luck would have it, the seniors were gone. They were on tour doing TV shows, and I got my first call. So now I'm up to bat for the first time. It was a lady from San Diego. She had a horror story. For years and years she had this and this and this and this. And I'm going, great, no problem, I can handle it.
Yeah, and I want to do something. I'm sitting here.
Very much so.
Right, okay.
So I said, great, I can handle you. If you like, I can do this on the phone. And she said, no, I'd rather come in person. Okay, no problem. We set an appointment in person. 2 days later, she comes. And here's my first client. And she did. She had legitimately had a horror story. She had everything in the world was wrong with her, and they tried everything. They tried the meds, and they tried it. And as I'm working on her, I'm noticing that everything that this person had that was wrong with them all boiled down to one problem. One problem. And as luck would have it, I have the magic pills. So here are the magic pills. Here's the problem. Take the pills. Go home. Call me when you're healed. I was new to the field, so I basically asked her, please, in 3-4 weeks, give me a call. Let me know how you're doing. 3-4 weeks pass, no call. I just changed my whole life for this practice, so I'm a little curious as to how it works.
Right, and this was your one and only client.
My
then,
first
so-
client.
Right, so you're hoping that it worked.
I
That would be your-
took it for granted it was going to
You
work.
took it for granted.
Right,
Uh-huh.
but the answer was I would like a little assurance.
Right.
Right?
I understand.
So I made a rookie mistake and I called her and I said, hey, how are you doing? And she said, oh, it's even worse than before. So now I'm sort of like, whoa.
Oh my God. What did
I give
do?
up my practice, I changed my whole life, and now I'm doing something that doesn't work, and I'm going, whoa, whoa, calm down, calm down. So the first thing I did is I checked energetically to see if she was lying to me. Maybe the lady's lying, right? No, she wasn't lying. She was worse.
Wow.
So now I'm very confused, right? So I said, well, I don't understand it. You know, how are you reacting to the pills? She says, well, I need to talk to you about that. I had a few questions, so I never took them, right? So a little light went in my head. Got it. So I said, I understand, no problem. Go ahead and start. Whatever questions you have, we'll walk you through the head. Please start the pills, and when you're halfway through, call me. Never got a call. This is the manifestation of, the mouth says one thing, the heart and the spirit and the soul see something else. Sometimes people just want to go through the motions, and they're entitled. You know, nobody needs to be healed. I think it's stupid not to be healed, but nobody needs to be healed. Yeah. Here's a magic pill. Don't want to take it?
And when you talk about a magic pill, are you talking about an actual pill?
In this particular case, it was a single supplement for a single condition, which was affecting a whole bunch of
Which
systems.
was the root of a lot of her other issues.
All of them.
All of them.
All of them. There was nothing else. She had one system that was down. I have the one pill that will fix the one system. The conditions will go away. That's simple. It's
Wow.
unusual. Most of the time, it's.
My God, that's amazing.
It is. Sometimes the body is very amazing.
Right.
The body will sometimes, with very little, regenerate. And this is sometimes the doctors go, you know, we gave them up for dead and they had a spontaneous remission. Congratulations. You know, isn't that what you're trying to do? So,
And then how did you evolve from there? I mean, so you were seeing that this energetic medicine was really a powerful, precise type of healing modality.
I've never seen in a mechanical model, in an actual mechanical tool, anything that even comes close to it.
And how would you describe, you know, how it is practiced by you? Somebody comes into your office, sits down, or somebody, you know, sitting outside here. How does it proceed?
Basically, the actual process is I read the energy of the system, and I found out what the hell is going on, what is needed, what needs to be shifted, what needs to be changed, what help does the body need to heal itself. And then, depending on what it is, I either make the energetic corrections if that's all that's required, or if that's all that's required, but it could use a little bit of support, whether it's a change in food. You know, your head hurts a lot. Stop beating your head on the wall. It'll help.
Oh, that would,
Right.
that fits.
Some simple logical things. Like I said, the body is built unbelievably well. Sometimes it takes only a few minor things to make all the difference in the world. And sometimes, you know what, you actually have 50 years of accumulated bad decisions.
Disharmony.
Yeah,
Right.
disharmony. Disharmony is the end product of other stuff. But so it takes you another 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, 5, 6 weeks to bring yourself back to a place where you're balanced, you're centered, you're stabilized, you're one again, you're connected to yourself, you're connected to me, you're connected to the universe. You sort of are just a normal human being, or the way a normal human being is supposed to be, happy, healthy, holy.
And so this particular thing, and so you in your practice learned how to read the energy that way, and then knew that certain disharmonies or, say, I don't know, malfunctions in the energetic patterns could be harmonized by certain activities, certain foods, certain...
Sort of. It's not so much I learned to read the energy. The reason I say that is everybody reads energy all the time. So what is it that I do that is different than a person in the audience, right? I basically learned to understand that which I read. In other words, if I have a certain feeling about what's going on, I can actually put words to it. I can actually go, okay, aha, that's an emotion, and that emotion is anger, okay? That's a little bit of training. All basically you need to do is calm your own mind down. Our minds are unbelievably racy, right? So you have a million thoughts. What was your second to the last one? I don't remember, right? So you slow the mind down to be able to understand incoming data. That's the first part. Once you have it, then you allow the body to guide you in terms of what it needs. Whether it's something as simple as, you know, I could really use a drink of water. Hey, drink water. Okay. or something more complex. I have a congenital defect that happened because, when I was 6 months old, my mom had certain food restrictions, and those food restrictions didn't allow her to give me the foods I needed, and that's a karmic issue from whatever. Who cares? You're here now. How do we fix the now? And that's what you address.
So at the open, I was talking about, in a way, healing the heart and getting back to the whole and the oneness. Now, if somebody comes into this after, going through this, energetic healing, and comes to a sense of some level of harmony at that point, now how does that set up for continuing that harmony to exist, instead of the disharmonious world re-entering and creating the same momentum? I mean, how does it really change the momentum?
Sure.
Let's ask that question.
This body of yours, right? This body of mine is an illusion. What do we see? I see a person who's 6 feet tall, 170 pounds, built like this, certain muscle structure, this. What is closer to the reality of your body? Closer to the reality of your body, your physical body, is you are trillions and trillions and trillions and trillions of individual cells, right? And the majority of you is actually open space and light, right? So let's take a sick person, a person who has a sick condition, heart problem, okay? A weak heart, whatever that means. Certain muscle tissues are not operating functionally. You break them down a little farther. Certain of these tissues are certain cell groups that aren't working, right? Each cell group is very much like us. This cell belongs to this body. This body belongs to this world. How many people do we have on the face of our planet? 6 billion, 7 billion, 8 billion? We're all part of a bigger structure. As each of these cells becomes stronger, healthier, happier, wealthier, more full of joy, this whole body starts lighting up. Just as this body, this person, becomes happier, healthier, more full of joy, the rest of the world benefits. So, how does the world become better? One person at a time, one enlightened being at a time.
So you're almost saying one cell at a time.
One cell at a time.
So as that cell gets healed and harmonized, it's shifting. It's
Sure.
shifting like one grain of sand.
The same as applies to the cell applies to the body. One cell to the rest of the cells, to the rest of the tissues, to the organs, to the rest of the body. One human being to another human being, to this group, to that group, to the rest of the world as one.
Amen, brother. Okay, great.
This is not my take on it. This is not my philosophy of it. This is the reality of how the world is. You can run with it. You can run against it. It doesn't matter. The reality of the situation stays the same.
Actually, maybe in the second half we'll get into, almost maybe how it came to be that way and how we can evolve out of it one cell at a time as tools, maybe offer some tools.
As human beings?
Well, that would be a start for us, I think.
It's really easy. Just do everything I say.
That's what, there you got it. All right, so I think maybe what we'll have is the second video. There's a beautiful video. Michey Huber, Something Invincible. Michey was a guest on the show. She's just an extraordinary talent, an extraordinary bright light. We love her. Michey Huber, Something Invincible.
And when he said, there's no miracle but this, steps on the subway on a cold, cold winter's night. Was I wrong? And when he said, the light is there inside, did you believe him? Or did you run away and hide? Or was I wrong? There's something true, woman, in this world. Where you were arrested on the day that you were born, a shipload of pirates left you tattered, worn, and torn. Was I wrong? Now on the platform, same train you've been waiting for. You can't remember, maybe forever and a day. Was I wrong? There's something true, woman, in this world. When time was born, it's closing in. When I was born, it's an opening. And when he said, there's no miracle but this, you look inside her and you remember what you're waiting for. Then you know that what you're waiting for is this.
Hi, welcome back. So, yeah, that was a beautiful piece from Mickey. Thank you, Mickey, for doing that for us. And the painting you see, or the collage you see behind us, is James McNulty. He does all these collages. He's done hundreds of them. He's world-renowned as a firecracker artist. He does all these from different firecracker things. I don't know how many firecracker artists there are, but he's one of the world's most renowned, and it's an extraordinary piece. So we're back with Mickey. So why don't you talk a little bit about, in essence, you ended the last segment about healing one, like one cell at a time, how that expansion would go, and what prevents it from, what are the potential areas that are problematic in building the momentum for that?
When you're talking about a body condition, let's take an easy one. Not easy in the sense that it's easy, but easy in the sense that's to talk about it. Cancer, and even more specific, a cancer tumor. Okay, what has happened, for one reason or another, the body has had some sort of shift, change, an insult, a difficulty, a problem, and in encountering this thing, there has been a mutation, a shift, a change in one of the cells. Always, 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 there has to be one before there's two. Yeah. And then this process has started, and this reproduction has played itself truly to the place where you have 2 cells, 4 cells, 8 cells, 6 cells, and then the body reacts. It acknowledges this change, this difficulty, and it reacts. The way it reacts normally, the body has very few mechanisms to deal with everything that the universe throws at it. One of the mechanisms it has is isolationism and compressing. That's what a tumor is. It's the attempt of the body to keep that difficulty in one place while it can figure it out. Okay, so now we walk in after this procedure has already started. We now have this tumor. The condition that's generating this tumor may still be ongoing or not, right? But meanwhile, you're dealing with this legitimately physical substance, which are a bunch of cells that may even be your own body cells, but are acting as enemy to the rest of the body. Okay. Well, the process that you do with regeneration is 1 cell at a time. Okay. In modern medicine, what they try to do is they try to minimize this lump of cells. They cut them out and throw them out. Okay. And hopefully they get them all. Right. What normally happens with that, with removing a tumor surgically, is they don't get it all. And if they are lucky enough to get it all, They don't stop the process that started this in the first place.
The underlying cause is still
Quite often.
in effect.
Quite often. Because normally, the underlying cause is not within the tumor itself. The underlying cause is systemic. So you regenerate from a non-medical terminology, from a natural alternative terminology. You reclaim the cells you can, the cells that have been damaged, that are hurt, that you can rebuild. You get to flush out the cells that are dead or beyond redemption and hope. And then at the same time as you're doing this, you hold at bay the monster that made this thing happen. And then you see why the monster was able to get in, and you fix the monster. Whether the monster is something as simple as eating too much plastic, too much petroleum byproduct, including smoke and from the cars, exhaust transmission, some poison, some toxicity, a deficiency in your own system's amino acid pool, a deficiency in an enzyme, too much radiation, too much this, too much that. The list is endless. Right? One of the difficulties with Western medicine is they would like to be able to lump everything together and come up with the magic bullet for that. It's a wonderful idea, and eventually maybe down the road, hundreds of years, thousands of years from now, they'll be able to do this. But their approach right now is actually one of the reasons why cancer has gone in the last 32 years from basically being number 20 to being number 1 killer. The approach is wrong. And it's not during these 32 years that technology has improved. It's improved exponentially. So how can we have so much better technology, so much better wonder medicines, so much better understanding? We map the genome, and at the same time, cancer goes nuts? What are we doing wrong?
Well, is the possibility in the root of it that there's so much more stress and so much more trauma on the physical form?
Oh, for sure.
That, that would exponentially explode?
For sure. That's a major, major contributing factor. But when you talk about something like stress, right, is it stress itself that does it? The true answer is no. Why? It's how you react to stress. You and I could be both looking at the barrel of a gun, right? You react one way, I react the other way. Yeah? I throw you in front of the gun. That's how I react.
Sounds like a great end to the show. Wow.
It's harmony,
really
harmony at its
moving
finest. But the reaction.
Are we doing this on value of hosting versus guesting? Or
No,
just in
faster thinking.
Faster thinking,
Yeah.
I see. All right.
The-
Now that I know your strategy, we could be in for something else. We'll see,
My-
now it'll come to reflexes.
My parents have always taught me that people from New York are expendable. So,
And similar in New York for Chicago, so
Sorry.
you're very close, but
got it.
go on.
If you guys knew how to make a decent hot dog.
Right.
Anywho, so part of the approach in terms of this thing is to re-strengthen, re-harmonize, re-energize that whole segment, one cell at a time. Because by the grace of God, the rules of the body, the rules of life, the rules of healing are very simple, very simple. We complicate the hell out of them, but they're
Okay,
very
and
simple.
if somebody said to you, like in this case, who was throwing you in front of a,
Sure.
list them 1, 2, what are the rules of healing? Go. As many as you want.
Feed the body.
Feed the body healthy.
Feed the body.
Just feed the body.
Correct.
But a lot of people feed the body, but they feed it crap.
It is not food that they're giving it. They
Oh,
are
you mean
they are giving it crap. Okay.
Oh, so
feed
feed
the body.
it non-crap.
Feed the body that which the body needs.
Okay.
One of the questions that's always asked is, what is the most important supplement? What is the most important food? What is the most important mineral? Right? The true answer, it's a non-answer, but the true answer is that which the body needs the most.
Which
So-
is a moving target in a
It's a
living
moving target.
organism.
It's a moving target between you and me at any given time. Right? If you're short of vitamin C to an extent that you are susceptible to every virus, every bacteria in the universe, for you need vitamin C.
And
That's
if you're
simple.
overloaded, you need something else.
If you're overloaded, you need to get that overload out of the body.
Okay, go ahead.
All right. So feed the body, cleanse the body, rest the body, hydrate the body, put a smile on your lips, relax and enjoy life.
Nice list.
Yeah.
We're done. No.
We're done.
Okay, so that seems reasonably simple.
Correct.
And it seems like it's not followed on a fairly consistent basis by the human species as a whole.
Mostly
More or less.
for no other reason than you actually have to pay attention. You actually have to not just even know how to do it, but you actually have to do it.
Be in touch with your body.
Sort of. The nice thing about
I
it
mean,
is
because you say there are no rules in essence, because Do you
No,
need
the rules are very specific. The things your body needs are very specific. The rules are very specific. The lucky thing about it is that there are multiple ways to get to that place. For instance, if we talk about food, right? What is the proper food for a human being, right? The true answer is the last and proper food that was ever created was in the desert, 2,000 years ago with the Israelites when they had manna. Do we have manna nowadays? No, we don't. So is meat the proper food? Sort of. Is soybean the proper food? Vegetables, fruit, this, that. True answer, what we need is we need the nutrients. And if you break down the nutrients into simpler versions, it's really simple. It is you need water. Without water, the rest mean nothing. Okay, so you need water. What kind?
clean water?
Clean water.
Clean, healthy water.
Sure.
Right.
Water is a carrier. Cleaner the carrier, the better off you are. Okay. You need basically amino acids, the basic building blocks. You need a few minor vitamins. You need enzymes. Either you get them or you import them. You need minerals. Okay. Those are the macronutrients. You need fats, what they call essential fatty acids. Those are the basic building blocks that make everything cellular-wise function. So that's physical. None of that can be put together without energy. All right? You don't have energy, you've got these things on the table and they don't join. And then you need direction. Direction we have this working supercomputer in our system that is run by energy, regulates energy, and then we have this thing that is us. This thing that says, okay, I have the motor, I have the car, now we're going to go south. Those are the things that you need. How you accomplish them is luckily, so many different ways. You decide you want to be a vegetarian because of ethical reasons. You don't want to kill another creature. No problem. You can eat well. You have to work a little harder. Okay? You're an Eskimo. You live up in Antarctic, past the Arctic Circle all the time. You haven't seen a vegetable your whole life. Does that mean you're going to be unhealthy? Surprisingly, you can be very healthy. Why? Because the animals that are there will actually supply you the nutrients, including their stomach contents, because they do eat vegetables. All right? So the universe has been very forgiving to us. It doesn't give you one cure for cancer in terms of the herb. It doesn't give you one cure for fibromyalgia, for epilepsy, for you name it. It gives you multiple cures. That's what allows so many different products to be formed. The trouble with that is most of the time, most people create their dogmas from closed scenarios. They have a vision in mind, and the vision works well. It's a wonderful theory. Trouble with a wonderful theory is the body doesn't understand it. Body specific. It says, give me my amino acid. But I'm a vegetarian. Okay, give me the amino acid from that plant. Give me the amino acid from that nut. How about, are you okay with maybe milk? Give me it from the cow. I just need the amino acid. If you don't have it, sooner or later you will only juggle so long before it falls short. One of the things that happens with vegetarians a lot is they acquire tremendous neural conditions. For anything from multiple sclerosis, to epilepsy, to early Alzheimer, to dementia, to eye troubles, and on and on and on, because basically they're missing a few minor amino acids in the vegetable kingdom that aren't so easy to get. Quick fix, eat sea vegetables. That takes care of 60% of your amino acids. How many vegetarians will eat sea vegetables? Especially in America, right? I can have sushi, I guess, with rice and something, right? So there's a quick fix that takes care of 60% of your amino acid meals. People are always limiting themselves when they don't have to, because again, the universe is multi-redundant. Lots of different ways. You just have to, you can't give it lip service, you got to do it. Here's water over there, right? What good does the water do you over there? The water needs to be inside your body.
Oh my God, already I'm, no wonder I'm weakening.
Right.
So these rules are in effect, in essence.
Correct.
These rules are pretty consistent.
For everybody.
For everybody.
Everybody.
Okay, and what you're saying is the body in a pure form would know this and would reach out to this.
Well, it can't reach out. It needs you to bring it to it.
Right, but it would know what it needs.
Sure, take a young kid, take a 4, 5, 6-year-old kid, put him on a smorgasbord line, watch what he eats. Guess what? He'll eat healthy.
He will eat healthy.
Yeah, he'll reach, look how cute. He reaches for the Jell-O with his hand. Guess what? The gelatin is what he needs for his connective tissue. He likes green, he likes peas. Interesting.
But would you say that in certain societies, I mean, it seems like a lot of kids in the American society would reach for sugar at some point.
Of course, they've been trained.
They've been trained.
Of course.
So they're not in a natural state anymore.
Here, sweetheart, have a piece of chocolate. You know, here, sweetheart, have some cereal.
Or
What's
watch
the first
TV
ingredient?
with the sugar ads. And
With the sugar ads. It's not even the sugar ads. It's not that insidious. It is the products, right?
No, I mean that. I mean,
Rule of thumb is any product that one of the first 3 ingredients is sugar is not a product that's worthy for you. If sugar is 1, 2, or 3, okay, why don't you just have some sugar and get it over with?
Okay, so in other words, like because the education system around this has been so, I mean, is there more an insidious reason why this education that seems fairly clear and fairly precise in a way, why it doesn't get out there, why it doesn't, I mean, most...
It's not a high priority.
It's not a high
Yeah,
priority.
it's not a matter of the devil is working overtime, or that there is this drug company who's pushing sugar, or this or that. It's partly, it's like, you know, I don't know if you know this or not, but sugar is one of the 5 top addicting substances in the universe. It makes heroin look like nothing. Yeah? In theory, you never get over a sugar addiction. You know? So part of it is once you got the sugar monkey, you sort of keep going with it. Okay? And your body operates, 60–70% of your body operates on sugar as a working mechanism, or sugars. So it is not inherently evil. It is the kind of sugar and how you introduce it into the body, and overloading certain systems that makes this wonder food become a wonder poison. Right? Nothing wrong with sugar. Too much sugar is the problem, and the wrong kind of sugar is the problem. If you're in a hospital setting and you're passed out, you're having coma, right? What do they feed you? They feed you a little bit of salt, 2 kinds of salt, a lot of water, and 5% sugar. And for some reason you kick up. Why? Because that's what your body needs for energy and to stabilize and to hydrate. So,
Well, I mean, most parents would want their children to be healthy, right? I mean, and short-term and long-term.
yeah, the magic question is, okay, what does it mean?
That is the magic question.
Sure.
What's
What
the
is-
magic answer?
Well,
I mean, in other words, I'm asking that question. Parents want their children to be healthy.
Of course.
So why wouldn't they want to know what were the proper foods to feed their children? Why wouldn't that be more available on a more global scale? Or let's say in the third world has enough trouble feeding any kind of food some ways. But
Correct.
in Western Europe and in the cultures where food is available, why are predominantly wrong foods available?
I don't buy into that paradigm. I don't buy into a paradigm of bad foods are more readily available. I don't buy that.
You don't?
No. For instance, let's say pick a magic bad person, McDonald's. Okay, McDonald's.
Fine.
How horrible is McDonald's, right? So there you are unbelievably hungry, and you have to go to McDonald's to eat. Does that translate as now you're going to have a horrible meal? No, because you have choices. So even a place that, quote, is as bad as McDonald's, and I don't think that McDonald's is necessarily bad, you can have a hell of a good meal. Okay? One of the things they've had for quite a while, they have had, let's say you buy a hamburger, right? You start off with a hamburger. How do you make that hamburger a better meal? First thing you want to do is take at least half of the bread, throw it out. Automatically, you got a better meal. Take out another half of the other bread, and now you got a balanced meal. Ask for some mayonnaise, which will give you some essential fatty acids. Put as much vegetables on that thing as you can. Extra lettuce, extra tomato, hopefully not too much lettuce because that's normally iceberg, which isn't good for you. All right? All there are onions in the universe. You have a hell of a good meal from McDonald's. Right? You want some fries? Have a couple fries. A couple fries. Right?
Not the super
No.
package.
No. Have a nice big glass of water. Throw some lemon in it. What a wonderful meal from McDonald's. For what? 19 cents, 29 cents, 39 cents? Right? It's not the lack of availability of foods. Go to any grocery store. Look around. Yeah, there's a lot of crap. There's also a whole vegetable section. There's a whole meat section.
Okay,
There's a
if
whole
it's
dairy
not
section.
availability, what prevents it from happening more?
Custom mores, stupidity, lack of
Oh,
lack
those.
of those. Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah,
now I...
misinformation, disinformation, right? And sometimes not paying attention to the little things that make life worthwhile. How important is food when you have something like a job to take care of? And, you know, disciplining your child and showing him the way of the world, and on and on and on.
That becomes lower down on this.
It becomes
says-
lower and lower. It becomes incidental. It becomes like, and by the way, what did you eat today? Right? One of the first things I have for my clients is I have basically a food diary. Why? I can get an idea of what they need to do to change by once a week or so. Send me what you eat.
Okay, in a minute to go, what would you want the world, sooner or later everyone in the world is going to watch this show, what would you want them to know about healing the being, healing the heart, healing the love?
Healing is so simple, it's a joke. Okay? All the things that go on in the medical establishment is not necessary, not needed. The fact that the medical establishment does miracles does not take away from the fact that they butcher you left and right indiscriminately, whether it's a matter of because of the drugs that are pushed upon you, or the paradigms, or the lack of knowledge, or the disinformation, or it doesn't incidental. Healing itself comes from someplace so powerful, so strong, so readily available to everybody, that it belongs to everybody. It's so free.
Okay, we got to go. All right. Any information on Mickey, on the videos, on the art project, Alan, 805-687-2053, 805-687-2053. Good night. God bless you. We love you. Thank you for coming.